Hey, and welcome back. So, did you just get a wood stove and you're not quite sure how to start a fire in it? Well, I'm going to teach you what we do. It's not necessary to have a clean wood stove every single time you start a fire, just to, make sure you know that, but it does make it a lot easier. We have a smaller wood stove. So, what we do is we start by placing 4 pieces of shorter, smaller wood to kind of get it started. I like to form kind of like a grid or a teepee kind of look so that it can have a flow through those little grades up on top. That's where the air gets sucked back to outside and goes up the chimney. And when you have that airflow, it helps the fire burn better. Side note, it's okay to admit that you don't know something or to admit that you've done something wrong. When we first got this wood stove, I knew absolutely nothing and I didn't know anybody that even had a wood stove. So I feel silly saying this, but I just threw the piece of wood in there and tried to set it on fire. Anyway, so that's why I'm making this video. So before I even start, I like to collect cardboard, scrap paper, and I also gather up a lot of like little pieces of wood for kindling. And the paper, it burns faster. The cardboard burns a little bit slower and longer. And then of course the little pieces of wood, they burn longest. So that way your big pieces of wood really have a good chance of getting a hot flame that's going to get it started. So I shove all of that in the center. I shove cardboard down there, and then I put the pieces of the wood down there, and then the paper is kind of acts as like a wick. So then I can light that, and it'll go down and catch the cardboard on fire and the wood, and so on and so forth. And from my experience, it's completely normal for the fire to kind of dull out. And that's what those little pieces of cardboard and paper are for, because we kind of do what we call feeding the fire, where we just keep on feeding it. We keep on giving paper and cardboard to try to get that hot fire going. And then make sure you shut the door, not all the way, leave a gap so that there's airflow, because the air is what makes the fire go stronger. So when I start a fire, I pretty much expect that I'm going to be sitting there babysitting it for a little while until it starts going how I want it to be. Also, don't be surprised if you have to light up another one of your little paper wicks, because sometimes the fire just doesn't like to go. Maybe the wood's a little bit wetter than you anticipated, which is why I keep the wood stacked next to the wood stove so that it has a chance to dry out. We have two places that we stack wood in our house. We stack it by the back door and right next, and then another pile where you've seen it right next to the wood stove, so that it has a chance to really dry out. Now my boys just brought in this wood, so it could be a little bit wetter. One thing that I want to point out here is you can see the embers on the wood starting to glow. That's a good sign, because you know that you're getting closer to not having to babysit your fire anymore. So what I do from here is maybe I'll like move the wood a little bit around to be closer to each other, and I'll just throw in some more pieces of cardboard and paper and kindling to just really make sure that that fire is going. So here I have my poker. I always keep my little poker right in front of my wood stove. That way I can manipulate the wood or the cardboard where I want it, and I keep my matches and my box of cardboard and paper close to the wood stove, not by it. That's why I kind of push my box of cardboard and paper next to the big pile of wood so that it kind of shields it. There's nothing quite like the smell of a wood stove burning on a cold, snowy day. We're almost done. Last tip, always make sure that you shut the wood stove back. I know it seems like common sense, right? But there have been many times that I've been making supper and I'll get distracted and I'll walk away from it. So don't forget that. I hope you learned something. I hope you took something away from this video. Have a great day.